In the early 1960s, the American car industry entered a new era. It was a time of space-age dreams, aerodynamic designs, and cutting-edge technology. Ford showed off a car that made the whole world turn its head in the middle of that wave. The third generation of the Thunderbird came out in 1961. This wasn't just a fancy car, it was what America thought the future would look like. When most cars were getting rid of the big tailfins from the 1950s and going for boxier lines, the Thunderbird took a different route. Smooth, flowing curves, a body that looked like it had been sculpted, and details that were inspired by jet planes. It was both sexy and strong, useful and dreamlike. This video will take you on a journey to find out why the Thunderbird from 1961 to 1963 was not only a big hit with buyers, but also a living example of how ambitious and creative the American car industry was in the early 1960s. The Ford Thunderbird, which came out in 1955, quickly became Ford's answer to the Chevrolet Corvette, a sleek, stylish sports car for two people. Ford, on the other hand, realized that customers wanted more than just speed a few years later. They wanted things to be easy and comfortable. The second generation, which ran from 1958 to 1960, changed to a four-seat layout, which opened up the personal luxury car market, where the Thunderbird had almost no direct competitors. The space age had a big effect on the American car industry by the end of the 1950s. Car companies started trying out aerodynamic lines that were based on rockets and jet planes. Ford thought this was the best time to change the Thunderbird into a symbol of the future. The third generation, which came out in 1961, was the best example of that idea. The design team, led by LeWood Engel, made a coupe with smooth, flowing lines that looked like it came straight from a concept stage at an auto show. But it was completely usable for mass production. Ford didn't just want to compete with cars like the Buick Riviera and Cadillac Series 62. They wanted to set a new standard for luxury coups. To do that, the Thunderbird had to have a look that was so unique that people could tell it was a Thunderbird right away. The design of the third-generation Thunderbird was a mix of futuristic style and practical production. A wide shark-mouth grille ran almost the whole way across the front, and deeply set dual headlamps and chrome housings gave the car a sharp, purposeful look that was also elegant. The long hood sloped gently forward and had small creases that made it look like it was moving even when it was parked. Smooth curves hugged the chassis along the sides, and the wheel arches were deep, and the chrome accents were refined, like airflow over a jet fuselage. The bullet tail lights on the back of the car looked like jet engine afterburners and were a signature feature of the Thunderbird. The rounded deck lid fit snugly into the tail, making the car look small and well-proportioned. The windshield and back glass had dramatic panoramic curves that were a big change from the flat glass that was common at the time. This made it easier to see and made the roofline look like it was part of the glass. The Thunderbird looked like a concept car that had been put into mass production, which was not common in the 1960s, but the outside was only part of the story. The Thunderbird had a cabin that made the driver feel like they were in the cockpit of a plane. The dashboard goes all the way across the driver's area and wraps around. There are big round gauges right in front of the steering wheel and toggle switches that look like an airplane control panel. The front seats were made as separate pieces that could move a little to make it easier to get in and out. This was not common in American coups of the time. The cabin had a very high-end feel thanks to the premium leather upholstery and the bright chrome and brushed aluminum accents. The Thunderbird was also one of the few cars from the early 1960s that could come with a full set of high-end features: air conditioning, a great AM radio, power windows, and a heating system that is easy to use. The center armrest was made to be comfortable and to give the driver and passenger a slight sense of separation, which fits with the idea of personal luxury. The curved roofline, along with the panoramic windshield and rear glass, let in a lot of light, making the cabin feel bigger and improving visibility outside. Every detail was thought of so that the driver could enjoy both comfort and the unique feeling of owning a Thunderbird. Because of its interior, it's not surprising that many people called the Thunderbird the pilot's car. And this cabin was very important in making it a strong competitor in the luxury coupe market in the early 1960s. But that feeling of luxury was only complete when it was backed up by a technical base that was strong and polished enough to meet buyers' needs. Ford put a 390C and V8 engine in the Thunderbird and a 4-barrel carburetor in it. Depending on the version, it could make between 300 and 330 horsepower. This engine was famous for having a lot of low-end torque, which made it easy and smooth for the car to speed up. The 3-speed Cruise-O-Matic hydraulic automatic transmission made shifting smooth, so you could cruise on the highway without worrying about it. It was also quick enough to respond to quick bursts of speed. Its strong chassis had double wishbone front suspension with coil springs and rear leaf springs, which made it comfortable to ride in and stable at high speeds. The hydraulic brakes on all 4 wheels made sure that the car could stop reliably. This is a good fit for a car that weighs more than 4,200 pounds. Ford also gave owners the choice of different rear axle ratios, which let them change how the car drove, from easy highway driving to faster city acceleration. All of these things made the Thunderbird a coupe that combined technical skill with the power to please even the pickiest drivers. And once you got behind the wheel, those numbers on paper turned into a whole new driving experience. The Thunderbird could go from 0 to 60 mph in about 8 to 9 seconds, which is a great time for a car that was made to be comfortable. It had a lot of torque, which made it easy to speed up without having to push the pedal hard. The suspension was neither too soft nor too stiff, which kept the body steady at higher speeds and filtered out most of the bumps in the road. The deep, confident sound of the engine and the almost undetectable shifts from the 3-speed Cruise-O-Matic transmission made the drive feel smooth. The car was easier to drive in the city than you might think because of its size, thanks to the panoramic curved glass and low seating position that gave you great visibility. The Thunderbird wasn't about getting there quickly. It was about giving you a calm, confident ride every time. This driving character became a big part of the image Ford worked hard to create. The company also ran a smart marketing campaign that made the Thunderbird an icon of its time. High-end magazines like Life, Esquire, and National Geographic often ran print ads for the Thunderbird. These ads showed successful couples in suits and evening gowns getting out of the car in front of fancy hotels or restaurants. The settings were staged with city lights, yacht harbors, or airport backdrops to make it feel modern and wealthy. Ford also used TV a lot. The Thunderbird glided smoothly along highways and commercials, with shots of its luxurious interior and unique design elements mixed in. The same message every time. The Thunderbird was more than just a way to get around. It was a sign of status and taste. Ford also made only a few of some special editions, like the Sports Roadster and the Principality of Monaco, to make them rare and appealing to collectors. This made the car worth more, and made it look even more like a rare toy for a few people. And every year, Ford skillfully added new features to keep this model interesting. The Thunderbird came out in 1961 with a completely new look, including aerodynamic bodywork, unique bullet tail lights, and an interior inspired by a cockpit. Both the hardtop coupe and convertible models came with a 390 cubic inch V8 engine that gave them great performance. This was also the year that the Thunderbird quickly took over the market, selling more than 73,000 units. Ford surprised fans in 1962 by adding the Sports Roadster package to the convertible. This package included a seamless tonneau cover over the back seats and a spare tire mounted on the outside in the style of a Continental kit. Kelsey Hayes's chrome wire wheels made it look even sportier and more luxurious. The Sports Roadster was made in small numbers, and collectors quickly wanted one. Ford released the Special Principality of Monaco edition in 1963. There were only 2,000 of them made. It was elegant with its Corinthian white body, matching top, and gold-accented interior. Small changes to the chrome trim and interior options made the car look even more elegant. The Thunderbird sold the most cars of its generation in 1963, showing that this luxury coupe is still popular today. But the Thunderbird's appeal came not only from its looks and performance, but also from how it became a part of American culture in the early 1960s. The Thunderbird was often the perfect car for characters who were free-spirited or successful on the big screen. A white convertible driving down a boulevard at sunset or along the California coast became famous images of a golden age. The Thunderbird was also a symbol of modernity and luxury in many TV shows. Many famous people, including singers and actors, chose the Thunderbird as part of their personal collections, making it a sign of their own style. Fashion magazines, high-end ads, and promotional campaigns all used the car to reinforce its image as a luxury four-wheeled statement. It wasn't just its looks that made it the most futuristic. It was also the way Ford combined design, technology, and the driver's experience to make a product that was ahead of its time. The shape is aerodynamic, which is based on the aerospace industry. The nose is surrounded by a curved grille. The headlights are hidden away in dark housings. The tapered back made it look like it was moving even when it was standing still. The inside was like a different world, with a cockpit-style dashboard, high-end leather seats, and controls that were both comfortable and modern. The Thunderbird not only kept up with trends, but also set them. Its bold details inspired many cars from the 1960s. As 1964 drew near, the Thunderbird was getting ready to greet a new generation with a completely new design. This would mark the end of the short but brilliant run of the Bullet Bird. Not only did these 3 years see impressive sales numbers, but they also saw the Thunderbird become a style and technology icon for Ford. Each year of production brought its own improvements, but the overall spirit stayed the same, a mix of sleek design and a luxurious feel. This generation of Thunderbird was marketed as a personal luxury coupe, but its roomy interior and great comfort drew in customers who usually preferred high-end sedans. Ford also knew how to keep things interesting by offering special option packages like the Sports Roadster and Landau. This helped the company stay popular in a market that was becoming more competitive. But American tastes were changing quickly in the early 1960s. People started looking for cars with bigger interiors, straighter lines, and a stronger, more commanding presence. Ford had to make the Thunderbird's design bolder and more muscular for the next generation because of this. People think of the Thunderbird as one of the most famous car designs from the early 1960s in the United States. It is not just a car, it is a piece of art on wheels because of how it looks and how useful it is. Well-preserved Thunderbirds, especially convertibles or fully optioned models, often sell for a lot of money at high-end auctions in the collector community. There are two reasons for this. Their production numbers are relatively low compared to current demand, and they have a lot of emotional value, remembering a time when America was full of hope and new ideas. People like the Thunderbird not only for how it looks, but also for how strong its chassis is and how easy it is to fix. The Vintage Thunderbird Club International is one of many clubs that keep a strong community by sharing information and parts to keep these cars on the road. For a lot of people, owning a Thunderbird is not just about having a valuable car. It's also about keeping a piece of American automotive history alive for future generations. The Ford Thunderbird from 1961 to 1963 was more than just a car. It was a symbol of the best time in American car design. Even after all these years, the sight of this car with its graceful curves and beautiful interior still fills me with awe. If you've ever seen a Thunderbird in person or been lucky enough to drive one, you know why it was called the most futuristic car of its time. Please leave a comment with your thoughts about the Thunderbird. If you love stories about classic cars, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so we can keep looking at more four-wheeled legends that made history.